Hello and welcome to the Inspiring Minds Talk Show. I am your host, Alexa Henderson. I will be inspiring you with powerful conversations, innovative leaders, and visionary entrepreneurs who are using leadership and mindset tools in their businesses and careers to make a massive impact in the world. And this evening is one of my favorite fireball entrepreneurs, Allie Connor. She is a transformational life coach. She is the author of Unstoppable, My Road from Rock Bottom to Rockstar. She's a mother of 4, amicably divorced, and just like such an awesome force of joy in the world. I'm so excited to have you on the show, Allie.
Thank you. That's really good at summing it up. That was
party in an experience.
Yeah, the other day, I was driving with my boyfriend just yesterday, and I said, I feel like Betty White, and he's like, why? And I said, because everybody loves Betty White, and everybody should love me, and I love me. So
oh my God,
like Betty White.
We'll give it to you. And yeah. I think by the end of by like 10 minutes into this interview, everybody will be head over heels in love with you too, because you're a giver too. Like, that's what I love about you. Like, you're such a rock star, but you also allow others to shine.
I am literally at my best right now. I feel the most proud of myself. Like, I adore who I am. And that was my big thing, is that not just falling in love with myself, because it was a journey, but just having like adoration for myself and grace and all these things that I would give to other people. I make sure I give it to me. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So were you always a giver in the past? And tell me a little bit about yourself in the past.
Yeah, I've always been, ever since I was little, always had gratitude for everything. And that makes, I think when you have gratitude, it just naturally makes you more of a giver, because that's truly where the gifts lie. And so I love finding opportunities to give. And like just today, I went and got my hair done because I screwed it up with temporary color, which I will never do again. And one of the ladies in the salon was saying how she has never gotten a massage. And there's a new massage person in the salon. She says, oh, I've never gotten one. And I just thought, she needs to have one. You can't go this long without one. And so I was able to like buy her a massage, because I looked at that like, this is a perfect opportunity moment. I look for stuff like that. I want to have an effect on everybody around me. So if I go to the gas station, I make sure I make eye contact. I talk to people. I feel like I want everybody to be influenced by me. It's crazy. Like, I'm that into myself that I want other people to get my energy.
Man, okay, awesome. Well, you are infectious, and it's just, I've worked with you for over a number of months, actually, and every time you would show up to the calls, it was just fun, and we could just, it's infectious. It feels good to feel good, and I want to, and I'm gathering by the title of your book and some of what I've heard of you share is that it wasn't always like that for you.
Yeah, To go back, I was a teacher for 17 years, and I'd known that I'd wanted to do that since I was 4 years old. And within one day, I was thrown out. I mean, I was literally thrown under the bus, and it was the most devastating thing. I literally thought I was showing up to the Board of Education, maybe getting an award for being the most amazing educator. And they accused me of faking a meeting, which I'm absolutely capable of doing, but in this instant I did it, and they were wrong, and they made a rash decision, and in one day my career was over. I had lost my purpose. I was literally walked into my classroom, and I was given a box to take everything away, and I was leaving thinking like, this is a pizza party day for my kids. Like, what am I going to do? And so that was it. And then after that, I was just hit with really hard situations. But in those times, many times I always thought, okay, I've got it bad, but somebody's always got it worse. So I could always have a perspective and know it's not always going to be like this. I was able to have hope. But 3 years ago, I was blindsided with a breakup. And it came, I mean, when you say blindsided, it came out of nowhere. And so within 12 hours, I went to just the high of high. We were on a getaway, and I arrived home. Within 5 minutes, I get a breakup text. And I did not know what to do with that. And I kept on thinking, okay, it'll eventually get better. We'll get back together again. Why wouldn't we? I'm thinking he'll come back in 6 months and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. And then I believed in that span of 6 months, I would then work out. I would read books. I would do
You would
yoga.
develop yourself.
Right. But I was doing it for him so that he would notice all this.
Okay, and just to be clear, your video just went. Okay,
am I back? Yeah.
Yes, you're back. So just to be clear, this was the father of your 4 children?
No, this is not. And that's part of the book too. That's going to leave people with a little like, whoa. So that's a little teaser, and we can talk about that more in a little bit. It was not.
Sure. Okay.
And so I thought it's going to get better. 2 months almost to that date. And this is mind-blowing, that I had been reading the book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. And in it, it says, don't keep broken stuff around the house. Like, everything in your house must spark joy. And on February 16th, 2018, for some reason, the IKEA lamp that had been broken for 3 years, I decided I needed a new IKEA lamp. I mean, who does that? And then I packed up my 4 kids and we go to IKEA to fix my lamp. And we get to IKEA, and the boy, we're going to call him Ted. Ted lives in a different city, lives in a different state, had never been to IKEA. And I am in IKEA. And if you've been to IKEA, you know you follow the arrows, the grain of traffic.
That was even pre-COVID. They've got the arrows going.
Right, right. Yes, exactly. And I look ahead and I'm like, that looks like Ted. And then I'm like, it can't be Ted. Like, he's never been to IKEA. He doesn't even live in this state. It's Friday in the middle of the afternoon. It can't be. And he continued to walk, and it was Ted. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And he comes to me and he takes my hand and he says, it's good to see you. I hadn't spoken to him in months. We didn't leave on good terms. And
okay, so this is, so just for clarification,
yes,
so for everybody who's listening, and so that I can be clear. So
right.
Ted is the person that you were with that then broke up with you, like on a whim almost, it felt like, or just like a shift change there. Right. Okay. And so then you hadn't seen him for 2 months, is what you're saying? You hadn't seen him for a couple months? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, clear.
But in my head, I'm thinking, we're going to get back in 6 months. So I'm going to let him come back to me, see him at IKEA. And I thought, we're back together again. I mean, what more could you want? I believed it was kismet. It was serendipitous. And I'm already thinking like our story of how we got back together again, that I'm already, thinking, oh, and we saw each other at IKEA and it just happened. And he was nice to me. Turns out he would just be nice to avoid a scene. And all of a sudden I realized that we're not getting back together again in 6 months.
Was he at IKEA with somebody else? That's the question.
No, he wasn't.
No, okay, all right. I was like, because that was okay,
great question, because I'm sure, yes, we're not getting back together again. And then I also felt betrayed, because I just thought, why would he come towards me? If he didn't want anything to do with me, why would he put me through that? And so it was that moment, that day, February 16th, where I couldn't take it, because I then realized that my rock bottom, there was a basement to it. And I was at my parents' house with my kids. They were in the basement, and I was on my parents' kitchen floor in fetal position, crying uncontrollably. And I remember my dad was looking up at me, and it was almost like he was petting me. And he was like, Allie, it's going to be okay. And I looked up at him and I said, Dad, I will never experience true joy again. And it's interesting that I chose joy, because I knew I would be able to do happiness. I would have pockets of happiness in my life, but it wouldn't be joy. Mm-hmm. And I felt so bad about that. And I stayed in that state of non-joy. I felt it was the time where I felt so hopeless, because it was the first time that I didn't think anybody had it worse than me. Whereas in the past, I always thought, yeah, I don't feel great, but somebody's got it worse. You couldn't have told me that I didn't have it worse. And I found myself, I didn't want to.
Can I ask a question just to
get
okay, so there was something about that relationship or something. It sounds like you had attached some, like the relationship was the most important thing. Even though you had this crazy thing happen with your job, you still were like, okay, we can hold out. We've got our, we've got our, the thing that makes the most difference. And then that was like, it was like all these fated things happened. Like the universe just like ripped out the things that you were attached to.
Because he, in my eyes, he saved me. He saved me from like a marriage a marriage that wasn't serving me. And and when I was with him, I felt like this is who I was always meant to be. The way he treated me, other than the IKEA and before that, was the way I'd always wanted to be treated. And I couldn't imagine him not in my life. I didn't necessarily predict, okay, we're gonna be married to this, but I couldn't imagine ever not him being in my life.
Yeah.
And it was that I realized that I allowed myself to lose myself in him, where I needed him. I didn't just want him, I needed him. Mm-hmm. And when I knew that wasn't gonna happen, I had nothing. And then I thought, oh my gosh, I will never put myself in a position where I need somebody again. I will want them, but I won't need them. And they will only serve as an exclamation point in my life. And so I literally did a real self-assessment, because I thought, okay, I don't love myself enough. And there's also, maybe I don't have enough self-worth when I thought I did, because I fell so hard. And I then thought, all right, I can't let this be my legacy. Mm-hmm. And I made it a very, very conscious decision to throw myself into me and do everything I could to become my own big love. Because I'd always referred to him as my big love. And I'd read an article and it said, you only have 3 loves of your life, and the one you're truly supposed to be with is your big love. And I just ran with it. I was like, yep, that makes sense. He's my big love. That's it. And so part of that was realizing like, oh, I'll never have a big love again, because I paid attention to the article. And throughout, when I was dating myself, I realized that my big love was me. Like, I am my biggest love. Everything else is second. And
amazing.
So in that year, I just worked on becoming better and better every day, learning tools, learning what to do. I soaked up what I could do to help other people, because I was in such a bad place. And I am a very strong person that can take things. And I just thought, what about people that don't know what to do with this? They don't know how to get out of it. And so I really researched how to get over somebody, how to get over heartbreak. And I learned so much. There's so much to do with like neuroplasticity, where I retrained my brain, and I was purposeful in doing that. And so as I was doing that, I was thinking, I want to share this with other people. So I wrote down everything I did. I created templates. I did everything. I wrote everything down, and I have all that. And so in the meantime, though, my book starts out with my journal entries after I got dumped. And I couldn't turn anywhere else because, to be quite honest, there weren't many people that knew I was in a relationship with Ted. Yes, that's where the plot thickens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is going to be a good story to read.
Right. So I threw everything at my journal and just wrote and wrote and wrote. And you can literally see where in the middle, I'm sad, I'm boo-hoo. It's like I read it back and I feel so sorry for the person I was at that time. And it's interesting that the day this all went down, my mom was over. And she went out somewhere and came back, and she was on my bed. Oh, she came back and gives me this. And it said glitterly on the front. And she said, Allie, I'm just going to give you this. And I just think, if you could just use this as a gratitude journal. And if you could just find one thing to write, and I have tears coming down my face, and I'm thinking, I can't even think of anything. I appreciate where she was coming from. Her timing was off. And she could tell by the way I looked at her, like, no. And so then she was like, well, just, if you could just look around the room, and she looked straight, and she could see through my bathroom and saw a toilet. And she goes, Allie, if you could just write, if you could just be grateful for your toilet. And she's trying to, be so good. But I just thought, I can't. But it's interesting, like 2 months in, there's an entry where I really have gratitude in my toilet. And I wrote that I have gratitude for my toilet. And that was so big for me. And then it's so amazing because I can look back and read this. And March 14th, I'll never forget. And I'm going to read you this. I'm going to have to use somebody else's name. Hold on. We're going to have to put Ted's name in there instead. But
Is it Ted in the book, or do you actually disclose the real person?
Or in the book.
Okay, and, but with his real name or with the alias?
No.
Okay.
Alias.
Got it.
Yes. So here is my 314, my epiphany, my gratitude epiphany. And I say, I was grateful to Ted when he was my rock, and even more grateful when he, in a course of 12 hours, became my rock bottom.
Wow.
So as I then transformed, I knew I had to find a purpose in that happening. So then I just thought, okay, this will all make sense, and this happened for me, and this is going to prepare me to be even better in life. And so it was that whole paradigm shift that allowed me to live the life that I live, where I live as if I had been handed the golden ticket. And Alexa, this is the craziest thing, because I just talked about the golden ticket yesterday. Oh my gosh, this is so funny.
It's Alexa's talking, yeah?
Alexa's talking. We're shutting her off. I use my refrigerator as my vision board. And so I put all my pictures and everything on my refrigerator. And at the top, my refrigerator has been there like the whole time, and I didn't really like look at everything that's on there. And at the top is this golden ticket that I got in a book by Brendan Bouchard. I can't remember what the book is, but it's up there. And so I just realized that today. I'm talking about having a golden ticket in my hand, and that's just all part of it. So
it's so cool. It's so cool. So you like really this living life as though you're in control of the golden lottery ticket.
Yes. Like,
and then it's rigged in your favor.
I'm the narrator of my life. So how I want it to live, I reverse engineer. Like, I am in the driver's seat, and I'm the author of my life. Like, how do I want that to look? And by doing that, but I practice that every day. I do gratitude. I visualize. I make sure I watch every day, like 10 minutes on YouTube. I'll just type in motivation or something, and it gets you going. And I've watched this YouTube video by Denzel Washington, and it said it's literally titled "Watch This Every Day," and he talks about the worst thing that could happen to you is you're at your grave site. Well, you're actually in the grave, and you are being your ghosts of what you could have been have come to you, the ghost of your unfulfilled life. And they say to you, we could have been this, we could have done this, and you let us down. And that literally, I visualize that, and I think there's nothing worse than feeling like I could have done more at the last minute. And so I live my life like that. I don't want the ghost of my unfulfilled past to come and say, you could have done this, but you didn't. You had this in you. You had the aptitude. What happened? And so I practice those things every day. And I don't allow myself to stay in any state but joy. And I reset all the time. And I'm sure people they can be put off by it, or they can think, oh, she's, too much energy and she's happy all the time. You're right. It's purposeful. I cultivated it because my energy, I can give it off. And for me, I get more energy from myself. And why wouldn't you want to be around people like that? And I know the people that think that way aren't where they need to be in life. So I don't worry about that. And I'm ready. I feel like I'm the chosen one in a way, because my book, I've got to be honest with you. It is a book that will bring some people. I wasn't a great wife. My ex-husband and I, we were great parents. We weren't great spouses. And we live how most couples live when you stay for the kids. And we were content. And I realized I can't do this. It is so inauthentic. And I realized it was my duty to leave a marriage for my kids, whereas before I stayed for them. And it wasn't that it was a horrible marriage. I mean, we got along, but we didn't.
You weren't in love, number one. Right. Number two, it just sounds like you weren't. And it's so all of these things that you're illustrating is like, the universe didn't allow you to play small, like you would, right? And you wouldn't allow yourself to play small. But like your job of 17 years, all you wanted to be was a teacher. It got ripped out from underneath you, like in one, meeting.
One day, one lunch
finding out the person that you had banked on and put all of your, external validation in, just like shifted on it. And isn't that awesome that life serves up those really uncomfortable experiences?
It is. I mean, and I had I lost a set of twins in between there as well. So I had huge losses. And but it's interesting that the breakup of the love of my life did me in. That's what, and I thought.
Do you feel like that's a theme for what I feel like for women, when that's something that we're working through culturally. It's like we put so much into the relationship and how we're viewed in, like, are we attractive? Are we desirable? Like, and that like the time for that is over. Like the universe is calling for women to be powerful, and that's exactly what your journey has been.
And what happens then when you are living for yourself, then people pick up on that. And so I would then go out to bars. I love live music. And I just wanted to go out with absolutely no intentions other than just having fun. And that was it. But it's interesting because I give off a different vibe. And that's when I felt like there was the most interest. I knew that they picked up on a different confidence. And I think for men, confidence is the most attractive. So they see me as somebody that can go out by herself and is just as fine. And when people would ask me about it and they say, well, who are you with? And I'm saying, I'm by myself because I'm an asset. I don't want to be with anybody and have a lot. I'm not bringing liabilities. Like I'm an asset to myself. I'm not going to bring, nobody else is going to bring me down.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're like, if we're going out, it's going to be an upgrade.
Right. Exactly. Right. Yeah.
Amazing.
And so I just knew that eventually I believe that what I'm seeking is seeking me. And it was just a matter of time. So I wasn't nervous or there was no desperation. I just lived my life and knew that what needed to happen would happen.
I love it. So will you tell me about some of your, like some of the outcomes of living life in this new way? Like what are some of your results?
I am literally doing exactly what I wanted to do. And I have been able to then influence my family. They kind of are now thinking like me as well. But I've become just such a better mother. And everything about me is just so much more enhanced. Mm-hmm. And I now look at it like it's my duty to send my message out. And like, as I was sharing, my book is kind of slightly controversial because there was an affair and I felt a lot of shame for a while and guilt. And then I realized like, I would have never chosen that. And until somebody's in my shoes, you have no idea what to do. And then you're just kind of stuck. And so I was really ashamed about that. But then I realized that I was able to give myself grace, and I also wanted other people to be able to do that. And there's a bigger message behind my book. And so I thought, okay, I'll use that. If people want to call me Hester Prynne or whatever, I'm okay with that because I'm strong enough to deal with it. Because for those that are the naysayers and saying whatever, there are going to be thousands, millions of women that need to hear the message and will receive it.
Totally awesome. Totally awesome. Yeah. So, and you have manifested the man of your vision. You've manifested a lot of things in the last year and a half, 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
More fun than ever.
Hell, like he has his own book to write, which is going to be amazing. And I'm in such a healthy relationship that I also see us as being able to influence other people as well. Like I see us as like the Dave Hollis and Rachel before they got divorced.
Nice.
So people are ready for a new couple.
It's good. It's good. You know, it's like nice to get the divorces and stuff like that out of the way and then find the love of your life.
Right.
Because then it's like, you don't have to go through all those things with each other.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
Totally hear that. Yay. Okay. So tell me a little bit, because you came through the trainings. At what point did you do next level trainings, and what was your experience? Like, what did you notice shifted for you through the curriculum?
Every time I went through breakthrough and discovery, I just felt like I was uncovering layers of dirt. I mean, I believe that everybody's born a diamond and then life happens. And so I had felt trapped because I wasn't the person I was meant to be. And I knew who I was always meant to be. And it just took away those layers, but then it gives you the tools. For me, my PSP was huge. My personal strategy plan. I use that. I update that. Like that has made me the person that I need to be on a, not just for 2 months at a time or 4 months. It's for the rest of my life. And I update it. And I made, like, one of the things that in my PSP is I say, I need to travel every 6 to 8 weeks. I need, if somebody asks somewhere, I'm going to default to yes rather than say no, because normally I would come up with an excuse. And I thought, by making myself do that, that's part of self-care. I need that. And it just shifts it, having something to look forward to, and having, the more experiences you have in life, the more you can relate to other people. And so that's been a big one. And how I run my life, and the PSP broke it down into every quadrant of my life that I needed to work on. And so my house is the way it needs to be. I'm raising my kids the way I want to be. I do something special with them every month. I make it part of, our lives. But had I not gone through Next Level, the coronavirus would have probably, I would have probably been very depressed and felt like I'm homeschooling 4 kids, overwhelmed. And I told my kids that we can either choose to just get by and live, or we can step up our game and thrive and do things that we wouldn't have done. And so for me, 2020 was an amazing year of connection with my kids, of really knowing who I am and what I can do and what I can become. And but I chose. I said, you know what, I want you guys to look back at this time and remember the way we were, and know that mom sat you down and said, this is how we're going to do it. We're not going to complain. We are going to be outside. We're going to do these darn crafts.
We're going to do 75 hard.
Yes, that was another thing. Yep. Coupled with that was the greatest thing I could do. Because I want to personally challenge myself. Like, I always want to challenge myself and be better. I always want to be learning. Like, every time I have a thought, or I think something, or I have a paradigm shift, I write it. Well, in fact, wait a minute. I'm always carrying around a book, but I mean, this is just, hold on, we're getting there. This is just a car ride home with my boyfriend of all these things that I wanted to then talk about with people. I mean, this is what I do. And these are chock full of wisdom.
It's awesome. Totally awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah, your zest for life and your joy just totally just bring joy to my heart. And I just I truly appreciate who you are through and through.
Thank you.
The transformed version of you is awesome. I didn't know you pre-transformation, so I can't really speak to that, but my sense is that you have really shifted your perspective, and that Next Level was part of the things that got you to this new space.
I live Next Level every day. It's my whole mentality. And my daughter, she went through the teen one.
Wow.
And so she'll just say to me, Mom, they so need Next Level. I mean, she gets it. She's 13 years old and she gets it. And that has been so helpful. It has served her so much, because she is in a school district where the politics are crazy. And she was one of the only kids in her class that was for Biden. And it was a really hard environment to be in. And she kind of didn't know what to do. And then she said, you know what, Mom, this is what my training was for. This is why I can just know that this will pass. And so she was so mature about it. And I was so grateful that she had that experience, because that's where these kids, they need it at that level. They need it for teens, because it's so crazy what they have to deal with in school. Yeah.
It's nuts for all of us, but certainly for them, being so formulative at those years. So amazing. So tell us, if there were just a couple words of advice that you could give to people to live their best lives, what would you say, if you could distill it down to just a couple points?
Okay. choose to always give somebody the benefit of the doubt. Always assume somebody has the right motives, but the communication is just not its best. That's a big thing. I always give people the benefit of the doubt, and I don't, therefore I'm not let down. I don't take anything personally at all. Like, people can't say anything and it's almost like a joke. I'm like, you're not gonna bring me down. And I think it's because I so know who I am and I'm so comfortable that I just look at it like, really? And people take things so personally. If I would just say, get over yourself, who cares what they say? Move on. Don't major in the minors. Like, have a purpose every day. And here's another thing. I get up and my goal is to come in contact with as many people as I can. And I did that because what's interesting is one day I went into the grocery store, and when the woman asked me how I was, I had just got my hair done and I was so happy. And I'm like, amazing. And I was kind of caught off by how much I'd said amazing. Like, it was a little over the top. And she laughed and I laughed and the woman behind me kind of laughed. And it was a moment. And I walked away thinking, like, if I just said fine, we wouldn't have had that cute little interaction. And that was kind of big for me because I thought, when I see people say hi or smile, and so I make a point of making eye contact, smiling with people, being like, if I'm in line at Walmart, I make it a point to talk to strangers because there's such a gift in talking to strangers. And, we grew up saying, don't talk to strangers. And I think that's wrong. I think we should then, instead of saying, don't talk to them, how about no signs for something's off and then do something? But that mentality isn't the right mentality, because once I've decided, like, I like talking to strangers. I like, being in a line and learning something. And that has really enriched my life because that's what I do. And I want people to live like that as well. Get over themselves. Get off your phone and, get off your phone and be. And I think be joy, live joy. And it's really how I wish other people could live as well. Like, there's a lot to be said for that. So those would be my tips. How were they? Were they good?
Awesome. They're awesome.
Are you going to try to talk to somebody in the Walmart line now? Try it. Give it a try. It's really fun. And it's a little challenge too. I challenge myself with everything. I turn everything into a game. Everything. Yeah, and I create win-wins all the time. And I gotta tell you one of my favorite win-wins.
Yes.
And I was at a casino one time, and I was at the roulette, and I was realizing, like, the odds of winning are like 3.3. Who does that? And I was thinking, like, don't they know their odds? And are they really that disappointed when they lose? Because didn't they know there was a 97% chance they were? And as I was watching all these people lose, I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pretend that I'm using money. And I'm going to tell the person that does this what number I would have bet on if I would have had money. Nice. And so I said, listen, if I were playing this, I would pick 12 and it loses. And then I would pick 18 and it loses over and over again. And I was having the greatest time because I flipped the script. And the woman there, it ended up, she at first thought I was crazy. And then by the end of it, she loved it. Like, she was hooked on that thinking. And the people around me kind of caught on too. And I just thought of that at that moment. But I thought in life that can serve you. You figure out a way to make a loss a win. And so I was so excited because I feel like I lost 23 times in a row, but I won.
But you didn't lose any money, which is awesome, right? Which is totally awesome.
Right. So people need to, I call it reverse gambling. People need to reverse gamble.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Awesome. Well, thank you for spending some time with us tonight and
Yes,
bringing us into the
absolutely.
wild world of Allie Connor. And we're going to
Yeah.
hear more about you, I have the feeling, in the near future here. Can't wait to read your book. Will you let us know when is it
Yes.
dropping? When is that
Okay.
happening?
So thank you for asking. So it's in the
Yes.
last editing phase. And then I'll have a digital copy soon, and then a hard copy probably within a month. And then once I have that, then I can do pre-sales. And so then I will do pre-sales. But I also need about 10 people that I can give the book to write a review for me as well. So I'll have
Oh my
some
gosh.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you're taking applications for
Yes,
reviews.
I am.
And how do people follow you?
Okay, Instagram. And then Facebook. It's just under Allie Connor. And I think that's I've got a TikTok account, but you know.
I
We don't
love
want
it.
to see
I
me do
love
some
it.
dances. Which is
Nice,
so much
nice.
fun. Yeah.
Yes,
That's another thing I
totally.
want to add about it. People need to have more fun. They need to make it more like they need to have look to have fun and have fun with their kids. I mean, I really, really make a point of having fun with my kids, and I want them to grow up and remember that I was laughing and had fun with them, and I was engaged in them, and I wasn't on my phone. And so, yeah,
Amen.
yeah.
Love it. Yay. Well, thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you
Thank you
so
for
much.
thank you for everyone who tuned in, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.